Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And as always, we'd like to welcome you to today's show, where we are delving deep into things that are going to help us activate our higher self and connection to our divine purpose. And John is going to tell us more about it.
Yes, it's really what I really like about this week's show is that we're starting to get timelines ahead of us that are immediately ahead, i.e., by this time next week, we may be aware of stuff that has gone on, that has been talked about for so long, and we're starting to feel this first wave. And I'm really interested to see how this manifests itself. And, we're tapping deep into the wisdom again of Dr. David Clements, who is speaking to Pam Gregory, our favorite astrologer. And we're also delving into the work of Sarah Breskman Cosme, who was an acolyte of Dolores Cannon, and has written several very, very good books using the quantum healing hypnosis technique that Dolores developed herself over several decades. So yeah, it all knits together very nicely and into a message that is very, very important for humanity right now. But there's one thing that I did want to mention, like up front, because you may be aware. I mean, last week when we did the show, and we made live the meditation number 35, which was relatively hot off the press from David Clements in recent times as an activation for humanity. And we've taken it down. We've taken the show down. We have also taken, again, from the public arena, we have removed all three meditations that we had live. So that's 14, 15, and 35 as the key activations for humanity that David has come out with. The reason that has happened is that there were complaints from those within the Patreon group that David has, that people were seeing this for free, when in reality they were paying their monthly subscription to be part of the Patreon group. And, then that kind of began an issue for us. So, I have to apologize really to everybody, because we put this stuff out there with best of intentions, but at the end of the day, it also lacked a degree of integrity, because we did this. I mean, when we first started doing these things, we did send a couple of emails to David and team, and we sort of flagged up what we were doing. And we sent links to the meditation videos and things like that. We never actually heard anything back. So we proceeded and carried on. But as we know, to not receive a response back is not actually any form of permission. So as a result of this, because there were people who are paying into this that didn't like the idea that this was being made free, without advertising this time as well, since we bought the copyright to avoid that, then they were unhappy about that. And in fact, in reality, so was David, because he looks after the people that that come through the Patreon group, and that's what it's there for. And we've always encouraged people to join the Patreon group, because that's where you get access to all 35 meditations that he has out there right now, including all the other live streams that he does. It also accesses all the interviews that he's done. So we, both Jolé and I, are individually members of the Patreon groups, because it's important. And I know several of our community are also members of the Patreon group. So what we're going to say from now on is that we will just be encouraging people to go down that route and to go into patreon.com/CW/infinite. Just remind myself of it here. I've written it down somewhere. Infinite Source Creations. That's right. So it's patreon.com/CW/infinite source creations. Now, I know a lot of people have seen those meditations since they've been out, and I know a lot of people have taken a lot from them. and would continue to want to do so. So that is the route for that one in the future. We shan't be stepping on toes by putting that stuff out there, because that is the domain of David. And, we have an awful lot of respect for the work that he and his teams are doing. So that is the way we will do that. And apologies to anybody who may have been offended by the fact that we approached it in that way. It wasn't intentional. We did have, wanted as many people as possible to receive the activations that are going to help us moving forward, and got a little bit carried away with it. So there we have it. Jolé, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, once again, I just want to reiterate what John said, in that we apologize, and no way are we affiliated with David Clements. And we also got a little spanking from his team, which, we don't mean to be inappropriate in any way. We're really here to empower people and bring more awareness to us being able to go quantum, create our own universe. And we're in that stage as well. So I'm really excited for what he has to say. And hopefully moving forward, we can, integrate this information and activate and expand. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're all about. We're all about empowering people, right? It's not about, we're not seeking to become anybody's guru. We are just out there sharing information and learning as we go along with our community. And that's what makes it exciting, because this is a critical time for humanity. Right. And in fact, this week coming up is a critical time for humanity. And I'm just fascinated to find out how this plays out. So, yeah, with that said, do you think we should just dive straight in and
Yes.
and hit the button? Okay.
Yes.
So this is how we're going to do it. Okay, so we have this first section here, which is, again, coming back to David and Pam, the interview that they did recently. And in the description below, you will find the link to the full video, because clearly, the show, I think the interview was about an hour and 20 minutes long, something like that. So I would definitely recommend anybody to go beyond what we have within this show, because David adds more details. Pam has a lot more to say as well from the astrological perspective, and it's just brilliant information. But I think you'll agree that this first batch of information that comes from that interview is really worth looking at and, digging a little bit more under the surface. So, are we ready, Jolé?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Hang on to your hats, everybody. Here we go.
And they were sort of starting off by saying, well, there are actually several other objects like that in and around the solar system right now. And that's just one that, people are focusing on right now. But then it's like, sort of a pan of the camera. They sort of took my view from that and showed me something else. And so the conversation took a bit of a U-turn. And I said, okay, so as it started to settle in, what they were showing me was something very, very profound is happening with the entire solar system, all the planets within the solar system, the star and the core of our planet. Now, what they showed me is that there were these enormous vessels, which the Arcturians are involved. There are other very advanced races are involved as well. And just very briefly, as we spoke in the pre-talk, is that I asked, well, how big, just out of curiosity, how big are these vessels? And they said they're 1/80th the size of the moon, roughly speaking, which is enormous, in of itself. So these, I didn't get any information about how many of these, but I got a feeling quite a few of these are placed in, very particular ways around the solar system and within. And then they said what's happening is these vessels are transmitting conduits of non-material energetics, so not matter-based, towards the sun. And there was something very, very, the energetic science behind this, I'm still learning myself. This is very, very lofty stuff, but they were giving me sort of nutshell ideas of what was going on. So there were these streams going into to the sun, and they were both regulating or modulating, however you wish to say it, and sort of getting and preparing the sun ready for this sort of ignition, And the ignition, my feeling was, is going to be this amazing emanation of this new energetic that humanity is being prepared for and ready to stabilize.
Is that the solar flash that several people have been talking about? Do you see that as what's called the solar flash?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And a lot of people have talked about that as being this massive, giant CME. It's just going to go boom, and, sort of fly all over the place. I don't see it like that. I don't see that happening like that. No, it's there is a massive energetic that's going to happen, but the way my teams have described it, it's a non-material thing. They did say that there were going to be some CMEs that would come off, or coronal mass ejections, or ejections of charged plasmas and so forth that come from the sun. But more importantly, it was the actual non-material energetics, this multidimensional energy emission that was going to take place, which was the profound aspect of it. Now, they did say that the CMEs, the matter that does get ejected, was going to carry a lot of high energy codes, which will spread and do its thing in a more physical way. But they're saying the more prominent emission is this sort of, how to describe it? The way I see it, it's like this amazing emanation, non-material emanation, that's literally going to encompass and go through the solar system. And so this is what they were doing, but simultaneously to this, and I'll unpack this in a way, and I'm sure we'll have lots of fun with like nitpicking it like afterwards. But I also had a series of meetings with an inner Earth group. Now, this group is very deep in the earth, and they described a little bit about their history. They said they used to be surface dwellers about 400,000 years ago. And at that point, some of them chose to leave and explore elsewhere, and some of them decided to go further into the earth. And they said over a period of time, they were aware of this emanation within the core of the earth. And some of them decided they wanted to get closer and be closer to that emanation. And so several different levels of their civilization started going down and down, deeper and closer. And the way they described it is that you have to be more and more evolved to get closer and closer to the center of the earth. Because to be able to handle that level of energy, you have to be an evolved soul, an evolved being to do it. And they did say some of their race decided to stay at different levels for different reasons, because they wanted to experience different things. But this particular group were very close to the core. And what they showed me was this incredibly beautiful, all I can describe it is like a star at the center of the earth. I can't give too much detail because the whole experience of it is very difficult to describe in words. But these are very, very evolved beings. I met with a male representative and a female representative. The male representative was very, very clear and a very incredible focus. And the female was very gentle, incredibly powerful emanation of light from her. And they seem to be, the closest word I can say was sort of, Guardians doesn't really truly capture, the energy, what I felt. But that's the closest word that I can offer at this time. But they were more sort of caretakers, I guess you could say, more than guardians. They were there to evolve and caretake, around that area. And what they were showing me was the Earth is also getting ready with this ignition from this energy from the center, and it's moving towards the surface. And that it already happened to a certain degree, and the surface population were being prepared for this acclimation, this new energy that was coming forward. So when you couple that with what my Arcturian and other teams were showing me, they're saying this is all part of the same thing. What's happening is that this entire solar system is being prepared to raise up and transform into a new a new paradigm of being a solar system. And they spoke before about this bubble that was going to go up around the solar system that already started. Well, I feel that that's what they're doing. It's like a bubble around the solar system, and the interior was being transformed in an immaculate way. And it was being raised up in a way that sort of makes it that I don't know any time frames, but in my feeling is in the near future, only beings of a certain minimum energy can be here because of how things are working. So it seems like it's a big house clearing operation, so to speak, and preparation and transformation that's being unfolded here. So yeah, this is enormous. And so that ignition within the core of the earth and the sun are correlated, and it's this whole thing that's together. So it's one and the same.
So isn't this also amazing? And I love the level of detail that we get through David. And there's a lot to unpack, that's for sure. But I thought I'd start with our subterranean friends, our surface-dwelling chums of 400,000 years ago. For those who have studied the work of Dolores Cannon, this will not come as a surprise, albeit the level of specificity that David provides for his meeting with these two beings really is very enlightening. We found out through Dolores's Convoluted Universe series that many beings within the Earth are ready to come back to the surface to help us surface dwellers, but only once the frequency of humanity has ascended to a level where that would be harmonious and not fear-inducing. Much like our galactic cousins will show themselves once our frequency has risen beyond the fear-based paradigms that we've been encouraged to adopt. So, I wanted to play you this short extract from Sarah Breskman Cosme's A Hypnotist's Journey to Avalon that we covered in some depth during the course of this year. Sarah was an acolyte of Dolores Cannon, and following the passing of Dolores in 2014, it is very evident that Dolores guides much of what is revealed to Sarah from her quantum healing hypnosis technique sessions from the other side of the veil. Anyway, by coincidence, this extract came up yesterday on my audiobook, bang in line with David's words. So I'm not sure who's pulling my strings these days, but whoever it is, I'm very grateful, and it always makes me smile. Take it away, Team Sarah.
Long ago, all continents were connected. When the lands shifted and separated, much of the history was lost. People forgot they were once united, and knowledge slipped through the cracks of time. When I search for these artifacts, I see much of it is being kept under lock and key by the Vatican. There is also evidence of other worlds. The world you live in is not the only world here. There are worlds within your world, hidden realms beneath the Earth's crust where entire civilizations live. There are vast cities, natural landscapes, even bodies of water, all existing beneath the surface. It's like the surface, but different. More caves, more lagoons, a world teeming with life. There's a cover above, yet light still penetrates it, creating an otherworldly landscape that's both familiar and alien. Does anyone live in this hidden world? Yes. There are many beings there. The ones I see are humanoid, but without hair. They don't experience emotions like humans do. They operate with a hive mind. They know of humans and understand we live on the surface, but they don't feel trapped beneath the earth. They live in a different reality entirely. I see that they have been in contact with explorers, yet this knowledge too has been suppressed. Why is all of this hidden? Those who control the human workforce can't allow this information to be known. If humans had access to this knowledge these other beings possessed about free energy, healing, and how to live longer, it would break the chains of control. Those in power thrive on humanity's ignorance. Do these other species want to help us? Would they share their knowledge with humanity? They do, but they don't trust all humans right now. They're cautious. And while some contact has been made with certain individuals, mass communication would take time. Trust must be rebuilt. Why are we seeing more contact from other worlds and dimensions now? The Council has permitted certain beings to make contact, but much of what you see in the media is not from extraterrestrials. It's your own government manipulating the narrative to secure funding for space programs. The disclosure movement isn't what it seems. Hidden agendas drive it. The real contact is happening telepathically, and this is just the beginning. More and more people are awakening to this higher form of communication, aligning with their true purpose, and receiving healing from realms far beyond their own. As you open yourself to telepathic contact, you will begin to experience profound shifts, deep healing, and an awakening of your soul's purpose.
As for these explorers who've already made contact with these inner Earth civilizations, in addition to the story of Admiral Byrd's adventure in Antarctica, in more recent times, for those familiar with the work of Radu Cinema, you will know about the tunnel system that begins in a hidden chamber deep inside the Bucegi Mountains in Romania. One tunnel comes up in the Giza Plateau, another in Tibet, and the third tunnel descends deep into the inner earth. Radu himself has met with representatives of inner earth, as have others from the US military and the Romanian Secret Service. So the explanations provided in Sarah's book aligns with other things I have read about, as well as David's explanation of his meeting too. Sometimes the mind does start to get boggled by the truth of the world around us relative to the constantly suppressed version that we've been previously programmed and conditioned to believe. And that hasn't even touched upon our freshly supercharged sun and coronal mass ejections that we are soon to start benefiting from. This is all so exciting. And we have Dr. David and team's meditations, activations, and ignitions to allow us the opportunity for us to be trailblazers into this new era. All of this, yet still, it's very much an inside job.
2 questions, David. One is, will that sort of expansion from the inner core of the Earth cause more seismic activity? That's one question. And also, last night on the live stream, you were talking about this quantum leap in consciousness.
Yes.
How it goes up vertically. So
yes.
2 questions at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Let's start with the last one first then. So yeah, this whole thing, the whole paradigm is to acclimate humanity to a higher energetic condition. And so that will necessitate old stuff coming out in a way. And I believe that's very much what's happening now. There's been a real uptick in people who have been experiencing, sort of just down states or feeling rather glum or grim, as we spoke about before. And there's more of a message I want to share on that a little bit later. But essentially, this acclimation is pushing out everything that has a lower resonance to it because it can't be present in this new era that we're going into. And so that's something I want to, say to people, that because we've had a load of questions and emails from people talking about that. And I know generally speaking, you can see it around, people are feeling like this, something is really down, but it's not, it's very up. But it is bringing up within them is what it's turfing out and getting rid of. And that's an important thing to understand. This stuff that's coming out, it's not, oh my goodness, the sky is falling. It's no, something's very right. It's coming out to leave, to make space for what's coming next. Definitely. And so your first question, sorry, could you remind me of your first question?
Whether there'll be increased seismic activity.
Yes. Yeah, so my teams, do you have anything you'd like to share on this one? Yeah, they're saying there is going to be a sort of measured seismic activity. Not all of it is to do with, shifts and shakeups of the energy moving. There are other operations going on as well. But essentially what they're saying is the Earth is going through a purging process as well. And so exactly in a mirror way that humanity is going, the Earth has been, because of humanity's experience and all the things that we've been through, there's many layers of stored old energetics there that have been lingering and hiding away for millennia upon millennia that need to come out and go, and they will. And so this is the breaking down and shake up and purging of that stuff as well. And they're just saying, pay attention to your intuition, much of this is being modulated, they're saying. So as they said before, many of the sort of predictions of all sorts of things going, very off the cliff is not going to happen like that. It's, they're smiley. They're saying they do smile at humanity's, mean to dramatize things quite a lot. They're saying, but there will be some shaking and shifting in places, and we've already seen that, they're saying, and that's going to continue for a little bit in different areas. But they're saying in some places where, there will be sort of outbursts of things like volcanic activity, those kind of things. They're just saying, relax and pay attention to your intuition because you'll be guided. So if your teams want you to move away for a period, then you'll be guided to do that. So, but yeah, they're saying there really isn't anything to worry about. They're saying they are aware of a lot of sort of doom and gloom scenarios that, people are giving out. They're saying, please pay attention to your heart center. You will know the truth from there. And they're saying everything is well in hand, and the feeling I'm getting, that the sense of awe and size and scale and magnificence of what's taking place here, even if you can, just take, for example, what they were showing about the vessels beaming these energies in, it is colossal. These beings know what they're doing, and this whole process is in hand. And they're just saying, just be in joy, allow the process, don't fight. You don't fight this stuff, just allow this stuff to come out, and it will leave very quickly. And they're saying that's another difficulty that they see a lot of humanity engaging in, being overly focused on what's happening outside, going, oh my God, the sky is falling, and then contracting, and then that prevents the easy purging and release of what needs to come forward. So they're saying it unnecessarily makes things more difficult than it has to be. So they're saying, just remember that, just if you find yourself being out of playfulness, out of light-heartedness, bring yourself back. And they're saying if it just means watching, this is just me just watching funny dog cat videos on YouTube or something, or whatever it takes to lighten your mood, just lighten your mood. It really is, everything is in hand.
In a previous conversation, David, you'd mentioned that I think your words were something like the tip of the first wave of this shift of consciousness was going to happen at the beginning of December. Well, that's next week.
Yes.
The Atlas is at its closest point to the Earth on the 19th of December. I mean, these are fragments of time now. I mean, we are absolutely on the precipice, it seems.
Yes.
I'm looking at next year, because I feel it's going to be a much more vigorous, exhilarating, fast-moving year with kind of jumps, leaps. It's going to be much more exhilarating and exciting.
Yes.
It's coming in waves and peaks through the year. Is that how you are feeling the energy from your information?
Yeah, so the way that it's been shown to me is very similar. It's these waves are part and parcel with this whole thing. And I feel that what they've done is they gave me a little bit of information about the waves first, and then about this huge bubble, this energetic bubble, which I can only describe in words, and words don't really do it justice, is a quantum bubble. It's some kind of field that is being put up. I mean, these beings, scale doesn't really mean anything to them. We think, oh my goodness, the whole solar system. To them, that's sort of bread and butter, kind of thing. So that's going up and has been up for a little bit now. And then they talked about the waves coming in. Now, what they described as the waves is what I felt was, it wasn't sort of coming in from any place. It was emanating from the very fabric of the spatial system within the solar system itself. See, in mainstream physics thinks of space as sort of like in general relativistic terms as being just some sort of geometry which can be bent or flexed and everything to produce gravitational effects and so forth. I don't really want to go into that too much, but essentially that the way that they've described space to it, we don't fully understand what space is. Space is a very, very profound concept, and there's so much more to learn about it. And what seems to be happening with these transformations going on is that the very fabric of space itself is emitting energies. And these energy waves are coming from the very, like I said, the very environment of space itself as well. So it's appearing. And so, they're saying that the first batch of these waves is going to kick off early December, and I'm getting the feeling around the 4th of December.
Full moon, very important full moon.
Oh, it is. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So that's what just popped up to me then. It's about the 4th of December. So that's interesting. So that is what is going to happen, and they're saying it's all part of this major shift, and they're saying this is a really big one, and they're saying they don't want to cause any unsettlement. It's not like, oh my God, what's happening? This is tremendously positive, they're saying, and this is a real massive shift. They're saying if you imagine a graph of humanity's evolution doing this, well, you're about to do this, in a big way, and it's really, really big. And they're saying there will be acclimation periods. So when you described, these sort of, succession of, impulses, that's very similar to what's going to happen. There'll be this initial surge, settle, integrate, balance, surge again, integrate, balance, settle, and so on. And they'll just keep going like this. And my feeling is there is this interrelationship. They watch humanity's consciousness, they watch humanity's response. So if it seems like everyone's doing great, the next wave will come a little bit quicker. If everyone's sort of having a little bit of difficulty, they'll come in and assist, and they'll help stabilize. And when that's good, they'll bring the next one. So there is this interrelation. So it's not like everyone's just being kick-forced through, whatever comes. There is very much a sort of dance, if you like, between humanity, the multidimensional aspect of this, the source intelligence that's behind all of this. It's a beautiful dance. It really is. They're saying as they see it, there's going to be a series of monumental shifts in consciousness, and they're saying they see it taking place in different pockets of humanity at different stages. So they're saying there is the group of sort of light workers that, have been doing this for a while, have stabilized. They're going to make some very profound immediate shifts with this. But those who are it's almost like they're saying it's not like a hierarchy of as we might see it. It's more to do with, depending on where people are with their puzzle piece solving and their path trajectory of what they've come here to do. Depends on where their energy is right now. So it's not a reflection of anybody personally, they're saying. It's just what energy you happen to be sitting in right now, and what you've got to shift in order to, or what you've got to let go of. So they see it as like a series of groups that will make different jumps, but they will be simultaneous. But the ones that are more stable with higher energetics at the moment will sort of shift a bit more. That'll hold a more stable energetic around the earth to allow those that are still clearing their puzzle pieces to make an even greater shift behind, and so on and so on. So they're saying it's the way they do to us is what we'll be doing to sort of energy generations behind us, and so on. So they're saying this is beautiful family reaching out across. That's the way they see it. So they're saying that there's a lot of massive transitions that are going to happen. Some of it depends on humanity's reaction. So they're saying they can't give too much of an accurate picture right now, because it does depend on how people react and use their free will to. But they are saying they really do ask that people just enjoy this. They're saying they're very aware of humanity's need to have a lot of information about what's coming, but they're saying that in fact can get in your way if you cling to too much information. They're saying just trust and allow the unfolding.
And we're back. So, it's so exciting now, because we are that close. We're talking about 4th of December. 4th of December, for the beginning of a series of monumental shifts in consciousness. And what is really fascinating about this is that, how will this be noticeable? Will it be subtle? How will it manifest itself? Also very interesting, the fact that those who are kind of on a light workers and have elevated their frequencies, this will embody much quicker. And you become then the trailblazers for those that you can help up the ladder a little bit later, or as is appropriate. So it's really absolutely fascinating as to how this is going to manifest itself. And the other thing there as well, of course, the point that David was just making is that don't get too knotted up in trying to work it all out. Just allow this to unfold, and then allow yourself to follow whatever path is laid out in front of you. So I think this is really interesting. So the 4th of December, and as Pam says, that's the full moon, an important full moon. So again, a nice synchronicity lined up for that as well. But this is where I'm just like really interested because this is only next Thursday now. Okay. So this being the Sunday afternoon in the UK, we're talking about Thursday. We're talking about that level of proximity. Now, it could well be that, for those who are very much still in the mainstream, maybe, still stuck in the matrix kind of version of reality, that they may not notice much at all. Who knows, right? We're going to find out. It's also interesting that one of the things that Pam has been talking about separate to this, apparently, is that because of the planetary alignments and that, it kind of suggests that we could be coming up against some, financial market turmoil, some dollar related turmoil, that kind of thing. And that again could be within this week as well, like again that same kind of time frame. So those kind of things become very evident. And the dollar being the bedrock of the world's markets, if that starts to really get affected by this, if credibility, because let's face it, these are fiat currencies, as they call them, which means that they are not supported by anything. There's no gold standard behind this anymore. So it really just relies on the confidence of everybody to believe that, this dollar bill here, whatever it is actually worth something in exchange for goods and services. If you erode that confidence in any of these currencies, then, they cease to exist very quickly. And I've heard so much about the quantum financial system, which is set to take the place of these old fiat kind of currencies. But at the same time, I don't think this is an overnight thing. Again, I don't think one lot disappears one. This is probably, who knows, over decades it could happen. Or it could be years, just a number of years. But this idea that the frequency is rising, and the fact that when the frequency rises, what becomes evident are the old command and control structures within the matrix that are very lower, denser energies, then suddenly start to become apparent to many more people. Because all of a sudden you're looking down from this elevated position, and the things that don't align with that new higher frequency energies suddenly start to stand out like a sore thumb. So this is where the revelation of this era begins, where we start to see the subterfuge that has gone on, the secrecy and suppression of truth that has been withheld. And it's interesting, actually, because I got a message from Avine, our healer over in Ireland yesterday, and she sent me a piece which was to do with COVID. And it's about this litigation that is going through, which is pretty much like talking about the police over here who suppressed anything that questioned the official COVID narrative, right, if you like, of 2020 and thereabouts, was not allowed to be followed up with. It was just literally suppressed. And that is illegal. You cannot do that. When these things get raised with evidence, it has to be followed up. Criminal cases have to be followed up with, apparently, unless it was COVID, right? And they rewrote the rules. These are the kind of things. And, we got so much evidence on the COVID thing. And again, I get it. The mainstream very much still believe it was kind of not, a command and control structure. But I think many of us, know otherwise, really, from our perspective. So it'll be interesting to see how things like that and so much more really start to come to the surface. And once you start to, destroy the credibility of the old guard, again, it is like our favorite Socrates quote here from Elevated Planet is, the secret of change is to put all your energy not into fighting the old, but on building the new. So that is really where we're heading. We're heading towards that creation of the new, the world of unspeakable beauty. Another couple of things that I did want to just mention on, this idea that these craft that are out there. So the 3i Atlas is one thing, okay? But there are so many more craft out there, and we know that, right? I mean, anybody who's looked at this stuff for a few years understands that, dimensionally higher craft can exist all around us, and we wouldn't even know they're there. They could be right in front of our face. We wouldn't even see it because, our narrow bandwidth of frequencies with which we see things, within which we see, hear, taste, whatever, It's a very narrow band of frequencies relative to the complete spectrum. So they can have these craft, which are 1/80th the size of the moon. And how big is 1/80th the size of the moon? Well, if the moon is 1,080 miles in terms of width, right? Now, so then you break that down and say, okay, well, 1/80th would be about 13 miles. Okay. So if you think 13 miles from a circular perspective, that level of mass, so it doesn't have to be circular, obviously, it can be any kind of shape, and which means it could be much, much wider. It could be, who knows, 40 miles wide. These are monumental, they're more like floating cities, and they're up there now, and we don't see them. It doesn't mean they're just within our immediate grasp, because they can be over close to the sun. They can be anywhere like that. But again, dimensionally, we are not aware of them because we're at that lower frequency that we cannot see anything in that higher frequency. But this is the interesting thing. Okay, so as the frequency rises, we start to experience more and more things. We start to get closer back to that more telepathic kind of way of living life, and all the rest of it, all those other long suppressed abilities that humanity really has, they start to come back up again. And wow, that's all I can say. Now, the other thing I like about, again, what David says, when he talks about the playful side of things and keeping things lighthearted, I think it is important, because when you are lighthearted, right, your frequency is higher. Now, he uses animal videos, and it did make me laugh when he's talking about the funny dog and cat videos, because we've been posting them every week on the newsletter recently, because we thought, well, what a great way of balancing things out, because you've got all this stuff that we talk about here, which is all about, the nature of consciousness and the human experience. But again, in the nature of keeping things playful, we put in maybe 3 little, and often they are, dog and cat funny videos, because they are hilarious, right? And once you've had a look at them, then you do feel good. You do feel, it just helps you with the process of processing all the rest of the information. And one of the other things is that, Merlin consciousness, this crosses my mind, because just down here, I have this piece here, which is all about Merlin consciousness, which has been around many, many times in physical form, since obviously we were familiar with Merlin and the King Arthur and all that, but has manifested itself within physical form many times over the centuries past that. But there's a section here which is where Merlin consciousness is explaining how we are powerful beings. But it says, be like a child. Have fun. Try things out without taking yourself too seriously while doing it seriously. Your actions under the sun of your self-confidence will gain momentum. Stay focused on what you're doing and not on the effects of what you're doing. Otherwise, the flow of magic will stop as you switch to another mode. Stay focused. And then the next little section beneath says, I repeat, have fun. Don't put pressure on yourself. Have fun. Reality is a playground. If you give yourself permission to play in it, I'm talking here about the visible and the invisible. You are connected by a body on this planet, but you don't have to remain confined in it. So, I just think that's brilliant. And Jolé, can I bring you back in for a few thoughts of your own on this?
Yes, I think that you're so right when you speak about, the science behind it. When it's like throughout the years, it has shown that, there are other energies, things that are there that we can't see. We have the Sirius tribe, that was way before anybody ever discovered that. And what that speaks to on an individual level is you really expanding your mind, you understanding that you are a miracle and that you are made up of all of that dusty cosmic energy that is creation based. So once we get out of our own way, and as you say, our mission statement, don't worry about changing the old or fighting the old. It's about building the new you.
Yeah.
Using what you know, using the energy around you to then create. And it becomes a really beautiful thing when you love yourself, right? You love yourself, you have self-love enough to then hone in on boundaries, limited things that create and make up the life that you want. So when we talk about intuition, what is another word for that for you to understand? It's just authenticity. Now, we know that every thought that comes in does not need to be verbalized. Nevertheless, listen to the authenticity that is you in the moment. And when you stay connected in that way, you are better able to make the choices that are aligning you with the things that you want. A simple way, again, to connect on an individual level is to ask for alignment with the Schumann's resonance. May I be in rhythm with Mother Earth. May I be in rhythm with the flow of the universe, right? With the flow of what I'm on, the planet that I'm on, or the world. So I think that's also important. And just in the moment, just align me with the rhythm of the universe, align me with the rhythm of Mother Earth. And then you can come back into your center.
Yeah.
So I know these concepts and scientifically, and they seem like they're out there, but when you really think about it on an individual level, they're magical and
Yes.
they create magic in your life if you just tune in.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely 100% true, isn't it? It's aligning with the positive, frequencies that are out there. But as you say, we are part of the earth, right? So the fact that we align with Gaia, Mother Earth, and back with the Schumann resonance, because that's our natural way of being. But all the density can get in the way of that,
Right.
so it's shifting it out the way.
Yes, and there are signs, like some people see the ringing in their ears. Now, I know that that can be on another level, that can maybe be controlling and programming, but there's a divinity to that ringing in your ears. There's an upgrade and activation taking place. So pay attention to that. And as Dr. David said, and with so much love towards him and his knowledge and wisdom, is that we are being activated, we are being ignited. So just open yourself up to that energy of ignition, of being activated in a way that is positive. And what does it look like? I'm more connected. I'm more aligned. I am flowing with the universe. The struggles are leaving me. I have a positive, it may manifest itself as a positive balance in your bank account. It may manifest itself as a marriage in a beautiful place. You can see that you're beginning to align and your frequency is beginning to raise.
Yes. Yes. This is what these raised frequencies are going to do more than anything, I think, is really, it takes us away from the illusion of separation, right? And back into unity, because we know that's where we're heading. That's it, heart-based unity consciousness. So elevating the frequencies, we get elevated with that. And okay, for some of us, it's going to take longer than others to be able to ingrain that and to learn and to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that, this is the way it's supposed to be. There will be the trailblazers. There will be those who step out in front because they're already at a frequency that is enabling them to absorb this and move forward very quickly, and they'll be ready for the next section. But they can also be reaching and helping others to embody the changes in frequency. And it all comes down to that, resistance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you resist, it persists, right? So
yes,
this allowing, this idea of allowing this change to come through. Don't try and second guess it too much. When it comes through, understand what's happening, embody it, and as Dr. David said, this is, it's going to be a really big one. It's a massive shift, but it's joyful.
mm-hmm.
This is something to be celebrated, not to be feared.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely agree. This is the time, and you can see how a part of it is them programming us with fear. So you can really tell that this is a time for joy and upliftment because they're trying to combat that with all of this programming that's quite devious, And so stay the course with where you're at. Keep doing the things that are self-caring and loving your environment and the things around you. And another thing to remember is that your hands are the channels of creativity. So really during this time, like, get in your garden, cook, do the things that are going to create those synapses in a positive way to to magnetize or bring in, attract. And that is from you feeling pleasure, from you feeling good, from you feeling creative. So, keep moving in that direction.
Absolutely, yeah. Creativity is such an important part of who we are. And, the use of imagination within that creativity is so important. And again, that's something that we've been discouraged from since we were kids, even though that was a natural part of who we are. And now that's, again, future generations will learn to tap into that imagination as much as we like. It's a gift.
Yes.
It's imaging our future. So, let's learn how to use that energy for
Yes.
betterment of ourselves and for humanity.
Absolutely. And imagination is so important. And a lot of times our imagination has been hijacked and we use it for the worst case scenario. Always remember at the end of the day, you're going to be okay. Most of the time, it's really the statistics are low for people not being okay in certain situations. So just remember that those daydreams, those thoughts, those pictures that come into your mind are yours to control. You can get rid of them and you can pivot and shift into seeing something that's more like unspeakable beauty than a nightmare scenario. I know I have those instances where what if? Well, what if the good happens? What if you are successful? What if you have a loving relationship? What if you're living the life of your dreams? Why are you thinking about the negative side? Because that's what we've been conditioned to do. So that's right where we want to work. Condition yourself to see the good, what can work, what is working, instead of, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that's again something that Dr. David said as well, wasn't it? That basically when these energies start to hit, people will have things that are coming to the surface very quickly to be released, right? Because this is when we do need to clear that out the way to make way for the high frequencies that are coming in. But just understand this is a natural part of the process. And, forewarned is forearmed. If you suddenly find some denser emotions coming back up again all of a sudden, then, okay, meditations and this sort of thing is just such a great way to be able to release this.
And also naming it. And I'm not saying shame yourself, but name and shame whatever it is that's plaguing you. What makes you uncomfortable. I don't like this feeling. Let me go ahead. And Dr. David talked about it. The universe is going to say, hey, purge it. Like I recognize that I have this negative quality. Ooh, I don't like it. So now we just purge it down our grounding cord, filling up with gold light or whatever it is that you do to help keep your spiritual cleanliness emotional. And this way, it's so much easier. But what we get into is a suppression, which is what? A lack of authenticity. Because when you're authentic, you allow for it to air itself out, right? Because you're exposing it to the light versus constantly feeling that and then having these tweaks and triggers. And now you're sabotaging yourself and your development.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Very well said. So, Jolé, what do you think? Do you think we should be getting into the meditation now?
I do. I think it is definitely time.
Okay. And just to make the point again, just because we use Dr. David's words of wisdom to lead into the guided meditation doesn't mean that Dr. David is endorsing Jolé or Elevated Planet. It is just basically how we work things, because we use the wisdom of the people that we have to use that as inspiration for the words that follows from Jolé.
Yes. And what it is that we need to collectively work on in mass consciousness, because we're locked into that frequency right now. So let's release some of that programming that we're experiencing.
Yeah, very good. Okay, all right. So we're going to have David. He's going to lead us in with just 1 minute of wisdom to then lead into Jolé to take it from there. So bear with me a second. We'll be right with you.
The expression and expansion that is going to come through is going to be a little bit different for everyone, because this energy is going to radiate through and it's going to go through your unique stuff and then start the unique clearing within each of us individually. And then there's going to be the collective that's going on, which they just described. So they're saying that this is actually going to be a profoundly joyful thing, but they're saying just be aware if stuff comes up, if you start feeling a bit sort of down or glum, it is a necessary moving out of the old. It's part of the necessity of what needs to take place. And as that stuff moves out, it makes space within the fields of your consciousness for the greater consciousness to come in and activate and stabilize properly. And they're saying that's really what's happening here.
So put your feet flat on the floor, your palms face up on your thighs. Bring your awareness to your chest and begin to breathe with the rhythm of your body. And gently relax on the exhale. So as you breathe in for a count of 5, you want to hold it for a count of 6, and exhale for a count of 7. And you're inhaling for a count of 5, inhaling beauty, unconditional love, success, holding it for a count of 6, letting all of that energy move throughout your body. As you exhale all of this positive energy back into the universe for a count of 7. So you're breathing in positive attributes for a count of 5. You're holding them and let them move around your body and be absorbed for a count of 6, all the way down to your tippy toes. And you exhale that same energy with love for a count of 7. And you bring your awareness back to your heart. And from this place, you're going to ask or command that your rhythm matches the rhythm of the Schumann's resonance. It's your special and unique dance with Mother Earth. As you then ground your energy from your first chakra, right between your sit bones, visualizing a beautiful grounding cord of a natural earth element that is 6 inches in diameter, moving through the layers of Mother Earth. Your essence communicating with her as you root and ground into her core. And immediately, your grounding cord becomes blanketed on the inside and the outside with these beautiful rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles. And they're golden. And as they go ahead and clean off anything you're ready to let go of and release, we're going to take this time to purge out of our body or recognize at this point the behaviors, the attitudes, the experiences, the people, the places, and the things that we believe no longer serve us. We're just going to name them, and we're going to figure out, where does this energy sit in our bodies? While our feet open and 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you pools in the bottoms of your feet, traveling up the side channels of your legs, while then your crown opens like the lens of a camera, and 85% cosmic gold life force energy comes cascading down from the heavens, raining down on your higher self, which is standing at the power position at a comfortable distance above your crown. And then this golden essence moves down your crown and just saturates and marinates your brain, moving out any negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, any programs you're ready to let go of and release, bringing it down into the neck, balancing and integrating those hormones, T3 and T4, regulating them as it moves down into those hands and into your core, beginning to mix in with that earth energy and just beginning to fill you up like water fills up a cup. As this essence then begins to sprout out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras, now you're ready to purge this energy out of your body. The negative attitude, the fear, the shame, the guilt, the unworthiness, the caring too much about what others think. See this energy of divine and of Mother Earth. Purge this energy out and down your grounding cord. As you fill up with this new earth energy and this new cosmic life force energy, fills up the spaces and the places where you moved out that negativity, that energy that no longer served you, those patterns and those programs, moving down into Mother Earth, who can turn them into positive, creative life force energy for anyone to use. Those pictures resolving and dissolving themselves and storing themselves in your memory bank. So now you have the lesson without the activation, reaction, or the charge. We are now moving into a new energy, one of peace, one of calmness, positive manifestation, unconditional love, and unspeakable beauty. What does that look like? Feel what that feels like. See it. Dance with your dream. Feel what it feels like to have mastery over your own creation. Let that energy fill you up. Feel the power that is you. Remember who you are. As this 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you, and that 85% cosmic gold moves through your body, bringing you into a state of wellness, excellence, success, connection, manifestation. Limitlessness is moving throughout all of your cells. As you attract in wellness, prosperity, as you align with the laws of the universe, moving this newness and this energy all throughout your cells. Your 50 trillion cells in your body have new instructions, instructions of abundance, prosperity, connectivity, unconditional love. Feel this nourishment, this spiritual nourishment, move throughout your body, your cells, and your environment. Not only activating you, but activating your environment, activating your family, your friends, activating those around you, enlightening them, and igniting that creativity, that connectivity with the higher self. Now that all of the blocks have been removed and you are in alignment with Mother Earth, put this beautiful golden sun above your head. What is this golden sun filled with? It's filled with whatever your dreams consist of. Positive, healthy, creative, harmonious. Fill it up that golden sun with that energy, and let that cosmic gold life force energy rain down on this beautiful golden sun. And when it is filled to the brim and you're ready, have your higher self lift up its arms and pull this golden sun down through itself, pushing it down into your crown, as this golden sun then breaks off into little atoms and cells and integrates into every one of your 50 trillion cells, bringing in wellness, resolving and dissolving junk DNA, cancel, deleting any ancestral negativity, breaking all the curses and the blocks that are holding you back, and bringing in that limitlessness, that unconditional love, that excellence, that success, that alignment with the laws of the universe. As you flow with the rhythm of the Schumann's resonance and this energy moving through you, down your grounding cord, chasing those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles into the core of Mother Earth, bringing you into the present moment where your grounding cord is clean, clear, filled with gold light. Your aura layer is 1.5 feet around you, sparkly. Your higher self is above you, and your astral body is snapped in. And your soul architecture is renewed and recalibrated to unconditional love and your most loving good. So as you take a deep breath in and you hold it for a count of 5, you let it move through you for a count of 6, and you exhale for a count of 7, all of this positive energy of your dreams into the universe so Mother Earth knows what to bring you. I want you to go ahead and close your feet chakras and allow for that earth energy to recede back down into Mother Earth. As you take another deep breath in for a count of 5, breathing in all this newness, this limitlessness, the positive possibilities, and letting it move through your body, supercharging all your cells. As you exhale the same beautiful energy back into your environment, I want you to go ahead and close your hands. And if your heart was open, close your heart. And allow for that energy to settle in your body. As you take another deep breath in for a count of 5, and you feel so much gratitude for yourself, your experiences, Mother Earth, the divine, and your environment. And you let that gratitude move through your body. And you exhale that gratitude into your environment as you close that crown chakra and allow that beautiful cosmic gold life force energy to ascend back into the heavens. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jolé.
Absolutely.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, it just sets us up so nicely for the way forward. And I'm just really interested. So this time next week, right?
We'll be back.
How's it going to feel? How's it going to feel?
Yeah.
Will we have noticed? Is it something that is very subtle? Is it something that we can all tell? Or is it something that some people can and some people can't? Who knows, right? But I'm just excited about the proximity of it. And we talked, didn't we, about doing something for Thursday?
Correct. to take
Yeah.
advantage of that. Is it the new moon or the full moon? I'm not, the
Full
beautiful
moon.
moon, the full moon on the 4th.
An important full moon as well, as Pam tells us. So if Pam says it is so, then it is so. So I'm thinking that we will get together. We'll come back to you with details on the distribution list of the newsletter, just to let you know what we have in store. But it's some sort of maybe a get together with a meditation to welcome in the energies and to help us to embody this. So I think it'll be really a fascinating thing to do. So that's something we shall work on. Yeah. And that's true as well. So for anybody who's watching this who wants to be on a distribution list for the newsletter and isn't currently, I mean, for a start, please subscribe to the channel because you'll hear it through there as well. But at the same time, if you want to be on the distribution list, then you can reach us through our elevatedplanet.life website, which has a contact page, and there it has a free format contact box that you can ask any questions, or just give us your email address to be added to the distribution list for the newsletter, or you can email me directly, which is johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, and I'll make sure to respond to you as well. So yeah, okay, yeah, so and that's it as well, right? So anything else you can think of, Jolé?
No, you said it. Subscribe, like, share, and get the word out about Elevated Planet.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. It's a fascinating time to be here on the planet. It's a joy to be incarnated at this time, and it's a strange thing, you know, from a mainstream perspective to say things like that, but this is a reality. We chose to be here for the times that are coming up now, for all the times we're going through. The seeming chaos is all part of the distraction, as Pam Gregory tells us. You know, get on your eagle's perch. Don't get drawn into the dramas, because that's what, you know, this is part of the test. Is can you maintain a higher level of frequency whilst all around you there is a lower frequency vibration going on? So eagle's perch is very important, because just understand it is part of the game of life that we are playing.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right. Well, that's it then. Thank you, Jolé.
Right.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody. And we will look forward to seeing you in a week's time. And till then, lots of love.
Lots of love. Bye-bye.